Hello viewers, welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel. And today I have a 2013 Honda Odyssey, and it has the 3.5 liter engine. And today I'm going to be replacing the rear shocks on this vehicle. And now today I'm going to be replacing it with the Monroe shocks. Now typically I like to use KYB shocks, but unfortunately they were not available. So anyhow, I was forced to use these ones because that's all I was able to find at the moment. So I'm going to be replacing these today. So now if you haven't seen my previous video as to why I'm replacing these rear shocks, it was because that the customer had a complaint that the vehicle was making a noise while driving down the road, and it sounded like a bad wheel bearing. However, it turned out that the rear tires were badly cupped, and so there were low and high spots on the tire. When I inspected it closer, I put my hand on top of the tire and I ran my hand through, and I could feel high and low spots going up and down. So that was the noise with those tires. After I replaced those tires, the noise was completely gone. So now I'm replacing the rear shocks because they are worn out, and I don't want the customer to run into the same problem. So we have the two nuts here on top. They are a 14 mil nuts. So you probably want to spray a little bit of penetrating oil just to make it a little easier for removal. You can try to get this out of the way. You can use a pry bar if you want. And now we are going to proceed to remove the bottom nut. So over here, there's the nut for the bottom. It's a 17 mil. So and also I supported the rear suspension just in case. I'm using a bottle jack. Don't use those cheap Chinese bottle jacks. You should use the ones that are made in Japan. You can use a bottle jack, or just you can use a regular jack, and that's fine too. So we're going to remove this. It's a 17. And don't forget the washer here. This side is concave, the other side is convex, so make sure you put it on the correct way when you reinstall a new one. So now we're gonna attempt to remove the shock now. I don't know if it will be easy to get it out. You may need to use a pry bar. Also, you may be able to compress the shock and to get it out, to push down on the shock. If not, then you can use a pry bar to get it out. And insert a pry bar in between here. support the shock. You may need to use a hammer to hammer against on the pry bar if you need to. So you want to compare the old one and the new one. Just make sure they're all the same. When I compress this, it goes down quite easy with not that much resistance, and it doesn't really go up as much. It takes a very, very, very long time to go back up. So it's not doing its job properly. So what I like to do, I like to use some wheel bearing grease and grease up the inside of the bushing, so that way it doesn't seize up in the future. And I will do the same on the bottom threads as well. You also want to grease the threads here as well. You can use grease or anti-seize, but I figure that grease works a lot better. So we are going to install the new shock. Just place it in here for the time being, and we are going to work at the bottom. So now we are going to grease the threads at the bottom as well. You can also clean the threads. If there's too much rust, you can clean the threads down with a wire brush or wire wheel. So I'm gonna place the shock inside here. You may need to lower and or to raise the vehicle in order to get it in place. So I'm gonna try to raise it with the bottle jack here. Until it goes in. Here we go. Install the nut. The washer first goes in this way on the flat side. And then the nut. I'll bring up the torque spec on the screen for you guys. We are going to torque these down later. Tying the nut down. So we are just going to raise the suspension up a little bit. Just to get this in. You might need to push down on the shock in order to get these in straight. to tap it lightly with the hammer to get it in. That's it. Reinstall the nuts. I like to run them by hand, a few threads first, and then tighten them down. I will put the torque spec on the screen, and you just need to torque the nuts here and the one at the bottom, and then you should be all good to go. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day and take care.